Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Today I got something a little bit different. I was contacted by a company and said, hey, would you be willing to do a review video for us on one of our products? We'll ship it out to you, no charge at all. The company is Airmoto. This is a battery operated air pump. It's not really a compressor. I guess it is kind of a compressor, but it's an air pump. It's got some pretty good features here. I'm not going to be able to use it on the Jeep, but you know, way too much volume for something like this, and it'll do it. You're probably not going to do it on one charge. Now I might be able to top it off and go from 23 pounds or something like that, like just a top off, but I definitely am not going to be able to air it up from a wheeling air pressure to a road air pressure. But what it is good for, and what it will be good for, is my car. The car I drive every day back and forth to work has a slightly bent rim, so it leaks a little air over time, and this is something that I can throw in my glove box and before I take off from work or before I go to work, I can top that tire off in just a couple minutes, and then when I'm on the road safely. So another thing that I found that works relatively well is my lawnmower. I can take this out to the lawnmower, not carry my compressor out, and not have to run a hose all the way around, and then air the tire up before I mow the yard. So a couple things about this. LED display, auto shutoff. So the auto shutoff is you set the pressure that you want to run it to. Once it gets there, it shuts off. And then preset pressures, I don't know. I mean, it just kind of gives you a range, I guess. So you have your car, you have motorcycle, bicycle, and then like a toy or sporting equipment, basketball, volleyball, things like that. The PSI range for a car says 26 to 51. I mean, look at the car door, and it'll tell you what your pressure should be. You set the preset, or not preset pressure, but you set the automatic shutoff pressure to that, it'll run up to it and it'll shut off. So car 26 to 51, motorcycle 28 to 55, bicycle 20 to 120, and then like your basketballs and things are gonna be 3 to 14. My lawnmower is 12, my car is 32, the Jeep I run at if I do street pressure, I run at about 25, or even maybe just down to 20, just something not 5. So let's put this thing to the test. The car most likely will go out here and we'll hook it up to it, and I bet it's going to read probably about 28 pounds. I haven't put air in it for a few days, so we're going to go from 25 or 28 pounds up to 32, which is what I run on the car in the front. All right, so the thing's pretty straightforward. Press and hold for 3 seconds, it comes on. It's pretty bright out here, so I don't think you'll be able to see the display on here, but right now I have it set at 35. So, and then you can just hit your minus, and that's going to take your pressure down to 32. So this is our automatic shutoff. So now I just plug it in and turn it on, and it'll run up to that. It also will read live display. So once I plug this in, it's going to tell me what my tire pressure is. Okay, so it's actually reading 32, so I was wrong, but they have a relief valve here. So if you go too high, you can let some air out. Okay, so now we're down to 27 pounds. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this on. We're going to leave the camera here. I'm going to go ahead and turn this on. I'm going to leave the camera here. And I'm going to turn the volume down because it is a little loud. It's not overly loud, but for the camera, it's going to be too loud. So I'm going to start a stopwatch over here. So we'll see how long it takes to go from 27 to 32. So that's pretty close. 2 minutes to get that 5 pounds. All right, so obviously that's not a big tire. It's a 235 45 17. So there's not a whole lot of volume there, but you know, it did it in less than 2 minutes. Come up 5 pounds. That's pretty decent in my book for a nice little battery operated. Let's go ahead and check and compare what it put the tire at compared to my digital gauge that I use for everything else. And it's actually showing 32.5. I mean, let me go grab it and I'll hook it back up and see if it actually says 32.5 is what it reads out. Once it showed 32 pounds, it sat on that for a few seconds, or 10, 15, 20 seconds before it actually shut off. So let's go ahead and hook this back up and see what it reads. Okay, so it's reading 31.5, 32. It was 32 for a second. Now we're showing 31.5. 32, 31.5. So I mean, it's not perfect. It does get you pretty darn close. For 99% of people, half a pound is not going to change the way your vehicle reacts. So I'd say at 31.5, I'm happy with that. It's a newer tire. I don't want to replace the rim, and I don't want to pay to have the rim fixed. So something like this, keeping it in the glove box, good enough for me. So just on that little bit that we done just now, it has dropped the battery level. They're just working that 5 pounds. It's dropped the battery level down a little bit. So are you going to get a whole lot out of it? Probably not. But you can charge it. It's a USB-C charger, so you can easily charge it. Like you have to use it on your car, right? Air your tire up before you come home from work. On your way home from work, plug it in, charge it back up to where it's always got a full charge on you. I got a trailer tire over here that should be about 80 pounds. Let's go ahead and grab it. We'll hook up to it, see what we're reading, and then this thing says it'll go up to 120 pounds. So let's see what we've got, and we'll pump this thing up. If it's not to the 80 pounds, let's pump it up to the 80 pounds, see what it does to the battery life on this thing. All right, so another little cool thing about this is, and it just happened to me, it's got a auto shut off. So you have your auto shut off when the compressor is running and it gets to temperature and it shuts itself off to let you know you're at temperature. Well, it also has an automatic shut off that saves the battery. It's been, I think, over 3 minutes, I believe is what it is. It turns the little pump off. So right now, actually, we're at 63.5 PSI, so that's got a long ways to go. Let's go ahead and hook this thing up. Well, let's do this. Kick this thing on and see how long it takes to get up to this 80 pound. All right, we got it set up. Turn it on. See how long this takes to get up to the 80 pounds. I mean, I'd say this battery did pretty well on this thing. It pumped for over 10 minutes and then the 2 minutes out there on the car. So 12, 13 minute pump time on a charge. I don't feel like that's that bad. I mean, I was asking quite a bit of it out of it to pump this trailer tire up from 65 to 80. So we were roughly 65. Let's go ahead and see what it made it to when it died. So we made it up to 74 PSI. So we went from 65 to 74 10 pounds on a, where's the tire size on here? It's a 235, 80, 16. And once you get up to those kind of pressures, you're asking a lot. You're asking a whole lot of this little pump here. Could it possibly do it? I don't know. I don't know if it would get the full 15 pounds, even if it was on a full charge. But it would possibly get there. But this is kind of a torture test for this thing. You know, it's a decent sized tire. It's a high pressure. You're not going to run a pressure like that on your car or anything, you know, pretty normal. Your high pressures like that are going to be your bicycle tires and your road tires, things like that on a bicycle. That's going to require your high pressure, but the volume is going to be low. So we got a lot of volume and a lot of pressure. Those two is not going to, it's just too much. For my closing, what I think about this thing, I think it's definitely got a place. This gets hot, and it was hot, so we've cooled off quite a bit. It has its place, and I think it's got its place in your passenger car glove box or your overlander motorcycle. Your motorcycle for sure, because those are very important as far as pressures go. So your motorcycles, your man, I'm drawing a blank of what they're called because I used to want to have one. Enduro bikes, that's another good one. Off the road on a bike, back on the road, you want to air back up. Great little tool here. In your passenger car that has a low volume tire that's not crazy pressure, great little tool. Trailer tires, I'm going to say it's a no-go. It's just too much volume and such a high pressure. Off-road rig, I don't have a way to, or I could test it, but it's just so much volume and it would just have to run for a very long time to get it up there. Lawnmower tires, absolutely. Bicycle tires, absolutely. Trailer tires, I think it's just too much. So I'm gonna give it a thumbs up. I'm gonna say this is something for sure to put in your glove box and to keep around. It's not gonna replace your air compressor, but in a pinch, this thing will do a great job.